I shall not surrender my Jhansi. In the heart of India, amidst the tumultuous waves of the Indian Rebellion of 1857, stood a figure of valor and defiance. Rani Laxmi Bai. Born in 1828 in the holy city of Varanasi, she was not just any child. Her early years were marked by an upbringing that broke the conventional boundaries of the time. Unlike most girls of her era, Laxmi Bai was educated in subjects reserved typically for boys. She learned to read and write, to ride horseback, and to wield a weapon with proficiency. Her father, a learned scholar, instilled in her not just the love for knowledge, but a fierce spirit of independence. This foundation laid the groundwork for the formidable leader she would become. It was this unique upbringing that prepared her to later embody the resistance against the British Empire's attempts to annex her beloved kingdom of Jhansi. Born to a scholar, little did anyone know that this girl would grow to challenge the might of an empire. In the heart of India, amidst strife and power struggles, a queen took her throne. It was the year 1842 when Rani Laxmi Bai, a young woman of exceptional poise and intellect, married Maharaja Gangadhar Rao, the ruler of Jhansi. This union was not just a melding of hearts but also of formidable minds, setting the stage for a reign that would be etched in the annals of history. As she stepped into the royal sphere, Laxmi Bai quickly adapted to her new role with an elegance and determination that won her the admiration of both the court and her subjects. Her days were spent mastering statecraft and the nuances of governance, while her evenings echoed with the laughter of her beloved stepson, Damodar Rao, whom she adored as her own. Under her stewardship, Jhansi saw a renaissance of sorts. Rani Laxmi Bai implemented reforms that improved the agricultural sector, bolstered the economy, and enhanced the general welfare of her people. Her hands-on approach to administration and her genuine concern for her subjects' well-being made her immensely popular, earning her the affectionate title of Mother of Jhansi. However, as her star rose, so did the challenges that came with power. The shadows of political intrigue and the rumblings of discontent from the British Raj began to darken the horizon of her prosperous reign. Fate, however, had its own plans, bringing both personal and political storms to her doorstep. When the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind. In the mid-19th century, the British East India Company implemented a policy known as the Doctrine of Lapse, a strategic move designed to expand their control over India. This doctrine allowed the British to annex any princely state where the ruler was either deemed incompetent or died without a direct biological heir. The princely state of Jhansi, ruled by Rani Laxmi Bai, found itself ensnared in this policy following the death of her husband, Raja Gangadhar Rao, in 1853. Rani Laxmi Bai's response was swift and determined. She adopted a son, Damodar Rao, on the very day before the king passed, naming him the rightful heir to the throne of Jhansi. However, the British, adhering strictly to their policy, refused to recognize her adopted son's legitimacy. This rejection ignited a fierce resolve in the queen to secure her son's inheritance and her kingdom's sovereignty. Her plea rejected, the seeds of rebellion were sown as the queen prepared to defend her kingdom. A fortress under siege, a queen in armor. In March 1858, the historic city of Jhansi braced itself as the thunder of British cannons echoed against its formidable walls. The siege of Jhansi was not merely a military assault. It was a clash of wills, a battle for dignity and independence led by Rani Laxmi Bai, the indomitable queen of Jhansi. As the British forces, equipped with advanced artillery and a sizable contingent, surrounded the city, the atmosphere was tense. Yet, amidst this looming threat, Rani Laxmi Bai's leadership shone brilliantly. She didn't just command from the safety of her palace. She donned her armor, mounted her horse, and prepared her people for the fierce battle ahead. Rani Laxmi Bai's strategic acumen was evident in her preparations. Understanding the might of the British army, she fortified the city's defenses and rallied her troops, infusing them with a spirit of fierce determination. Her presence on the battlefield was not just symbolic, it was inspirational. She fought shoulder to shoulder with her soldiers, her sword flashing in the sun, her voice urging her warriors to fight for their land, their freedom, The siege stretched on, days turning into nights filled with the sounds of gunfire, explosions, and the determined cries of Jhansi's defenders. Tales of the queen's bravery spread like wildfire. Stories tell of her leading charges, rescuing fallen comrades, and never once showing a hint of fear despite the overwhelming odds. Yet, as the siege intensified, the reality of the situation became apparent. The British forces were too strong, their resources too vast. But the Queen of Jhansi would not yield her city easily. In a daring move, under the cover of darkness, she led a group of her most loyal followers out of the besieged city. Though the walls fell, the Queen escaped, her spirit unbroken, her resolve steel, to the battlefield once more, for freedom, for Jhansi. As the siege of Jhansi reached its fiery crescendo, Rani Laxmi Bai, the embodiment of courage, refused to bow to adversity. In the aftermath, she forged a pivotal alliance with other stalwart leaders of the Indian rebellion, including the formidable Tatya Tope. Together, they planned a series of counterattacks that would shake the very foundations of the British East India Company's presence in India. Their first strategic confrontation unfolded at Kalpi. Here, Rani Laxmi Bai showcased not only her indomitable spirit, but also her acute military acumen. The battlefield was a chessboard and she, a master playing several moves ahead. Under her leadership, the rebels mounted a robust defense, their resolve as unyielding as the queen herself. Though the battle was fierce, it was but a prelude to the greater challenge that awaited at Gwalior. At Gwalior, the queen's tactical prowess was once again on display. She led her forces with a blend of fierce passion and meticulous strategy, inspiring her soldiers to fight with a tenacity that mirrored her own. The battles were intense, the stakes higher than ever, as they fought not just for territory but for the very essence of freedom. In the fierce combat of Gwalior, a valiant heart fell, marking the end of a remarkable resistance. Though she fell, her echo resounds in the annals of history. Rani Laxmi Bai of Jhansi, a name that conjures images of valor and defiance, left an indelible mark not just on her kingdom, but on the very fabric of Indian resistance against colonial rule. Her death in 1858, during the heat of battle, was not an end, but a powerful beginning. It set the stage for her to become an enduring symbol of struggle and independence. In the aftermath of her demise, the story of Rani Laxmi Bai galvanized a nation. As word of her heroic stand spread, she evolved from a regional leader to a national icon. Her fierce resistance became a rallying point for those who followed, influencing a whole lineage of freedom fighters. Figures such as Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Jawaharlal Nehru, and even Mahatma Gandhi referenced her courage in their calls for independence. Nehru, in his speeches, often invoked her spirit, seeing in her a precursor to the non-violent resistance that would eventually free India from colonial chains. But Rani Laxmi Bai's legacy transcends even the formidable bounds of political influence. In modern India, her life is a beacon of empowerment and self-reliance. She is celebrated not only as a freedom fighter, but as a pioneering figure for women's rights. Schools teach her story to children as an early example of women taking leadership roles in a male-dominated society. Statues of her stand in many cities, her image often depicted astride her horse, with a sword raised high, symbolizing unyielding courage and the fight against oppression. Cultural depictions have also played a significant role in preserving and honoring her legacy. Films, television series, and books have narrated her story, each rendition adding layers to her persona as both a queen and a warrior. These portrayals ensure that each new generation understands and appreciates her sacrifices and her pivotal role in shaping the Indian struggle for freedom. Rani Laxmi Bai of Jhansi, the queen who became a legend, inspiring generations to stand for their rights and freedom. In the echoes of history, some voices never fade. Today, we revisited the stirring saga of Rani Laxmi Bai, the Queen of Jhansi, whose valor and defiance are immortalized in the annals of history. Born into a time of great turbulence, she rose from the genteel upbringing of a scholar to become a symbol of resistance against colonial oppression. Her ascension to the throne in the shadow of personal tragedy and political intrigue marked the beginning of a new era in Jhansi. Her leadership during the fiery throes of the Indian Rebellion of 1857 showcased not just her military acumen but her unyielding spirit. The siege of Jhansi and her indomitable stand at the fortress are testimonies to her strategic brilliance and fierce determination. Even beyond the battlefield, her legacy endures, a beacon for countless generations advocating for freedom and equity. Rani Laxmi Bai's life is a powerful reminder of the resilience and strength inherent in the quest for justice. Rani Laxmi Bai, a name etched in the heart of India, continues to inspire the fight for justice and sovereignty.